Cheralyn Darcy here. It's At Home with the Gardening Gang, and it's a muggy day for the Central Coast today. I think the rain is behind us for a couple of hours anyway, and it could be a nice day for a bit of a dabble in the garden. What do you think, Cheralyn?
I think it'd be a good day for a dabble in the garden outside, but you know what's even better?
What?
Indoor gardening. We've touched on it a few times before, but today I thought, since so many of us are returning to work, after COVID settled down a bit, and also after our holidays that we didn't really have.
And no masks anymore.
And no masks anymore either. That we might look at our office and home office spaces, retail spaces, workspaces, and the indoor plants that we can invite in and how we can look after them and how to select just the right one for you.
A little greenery in your life. That's what we're talking about today. And I see a little plant here sitting on our bench here at CoastFM with a gold ribbon. What's on that
Happy birthday,
agenda?
Pete. That's what's on that agenda.
Remember?
I did. It's Pete's birthday today. So happy birthday from me, and I'm sure everybody who's listening as well.
It said, happy birthday, you little devil.
Yes, it does.
From Cheralyn and all the team.
That's it.
How many kisses? How many? Oh, 2 kisses. I'll collect those later.
You can collect.
Right.
Go.
Be prepared.
Oh, dear.
It's our birthday show. Only for me.
It's
all
Pete's
about
birthday
me
show.
Today.
It is.
Anyway, I got a couple of surprises coming up as well, which is going to be good fun too. Meantime, here's one from the chiffon, kind of early 60s. Chiffon was a cloth. Is that my recollection of what it is?
It is, Pete. It's a type of gauzy type of material.
Not a plant.
No, it's not. Actually, no, there is a plant. There is. Well, it's used as a descriptor. So there's a couple of things like chiffon. I think there's a chiffon lily. Maybe one of our listeners might know that.
Oh, the wealth of knowledge is unbelievable. Now, see if you can answer this question. We're talking about garden plants. No, not so much garden plants, but office plants today. Is there a real distinction between, home plants and office plants?
Not as in this is, the different types, to say the different species, not at all. And there's no such thing actually, Pete, as in an indoor plant. They're just plants that grow in places that are a little bit similar to our indoors. So, and I say this and I always think a jungle. Is your house a jungle? But we look at things that are like caves, cliff sides, and things that don't have much sunlight, so they're semi-shade, and also a little bit more humid environment, which is what our indoor spaces are kind of like. So they survive there. The difference between office and house plants is that we need to care for our office plants a little differently because we don't actually have time to care for them probably because we're working and we're not looking after them and seeing them all the time. We're going away on the weekends. We're not in the office, or we're going away for holidays. So defining them differently is things that will adapt better to us.
Well, of course, in my old days of corporate life, we had a plant company come through every, I think, fortnight or so, maybe every week, because we had a lot of plants, lots of plants.
Yes.
And go around and dust them and change them over. And I think we've got somebody on the line later on this morning to talk about the local aspect of
I'm talking
Central
to
Coast.
someone from Green Design later on in the show. Exactly, taking the mystery out of what happens with plant hire places. And, maybe it's an option for some of our listeners who have retail spaces as well and not the time to look after plants.
I noticed when I was down at Alan Graham's Caravans and RVs recently, they had some nice plants in the office there.
Did they?
They did indeed. I don't know about Doormaster. I don't know if they've got any. No. They're our sponsors.
Yes, that's
I just
it.
sort of bring those and sneak those in.
I like the way that you sort of wove those in there, Pete. That was
Doormaster
clever.
Security doors and windows. They're our sponsors of At Home with the Gardening Gang here at Coast FM. Well, what's going to be a fairly muggy day today. Yes, it's kind of feeling in the air out there as you walk around. A stickiness already starting to come in. Yes. Very high humidity today. Temperatures up to as high as 30 on parts of the coast, but average about 28, 29 today. It's after 8 o'clock with Pete Little and Cheralyn Darcy. It is the Gardening Gang for the 30th day of January. And yesterday we had the big draw in the morning of our fabulous OMF Rejuvenate mattress. And we found it difficult to get on to the winner, but we're going to try this morning. Let's see if we can get through to Crystal Italito at Tukley.
Hey, this is Crystal.
Hello, is that Crystal?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Crystal. It's Pete Little here at CoastFM Radio. You may remember you joined a competition to win a mattress.
I did.
Well, let me tell you, Cheralyn Darcy has fabulous news for you this morning. So, Cheralyn, tell her what's happening.
Crystal, you're the winner, the CoastFM winner.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, you won the OMF Rejuvenate Queen mattress from the OMF Original Mattress Factory stores at Tuggerah and West Gosford. You won the mattress yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, that's marvellous. Thank you so much. Thank you, OMF, and thank you, Coast FM.
Well, you're saying the right things too there, Crystal, let me tell you.
No, that's really good. I'm really pleased. Thank you so much.
Does your mattress, is it sort of in a bad way at the moment, Crystal?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's very lumpy.
Did you get a bad sleep last night? We're going to improve that for you.
We should have a nice night's sleep now tonight.
Now, Cheralyn is very keen to know if you've got a garden because she's a gardening expert. Do you have a garden at your place?
Look, I would love her to come over and do my garden. I've got a new home and it needs a new garden.
Oh, does it?
There's an opportunity for you.
There it is. That could be our next prize giveaway.
There we are. We've got a mattress and a
mattress and a garden.
Throw in a garden makeover.
Marvellous. Yeah, that's an idea for your next one. That'd be great. I'd love it.
We'll put that idea down in our book. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Crystal, I'll send you details in the form of a voucher, and then you can take off to your nearest store, which is going to be at Tuggerah, okay, in the Supercentre there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you very, very much.
Mail it off. So congratulations and thanks for being a listener to Coast FM. We need them all.
We do.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Crystal.
Okay.
Good on you, Crystal. Bye now.
Bye.
Well, she was pretty happy, Crystal Italito at Toukley with her new house. She's moving into a new place, that new mattress as well. Lucky duck. Good on you, Crystal.
Yeah.
More opportunities starting back on Monday for a fabulous prize of some recliners from one of our Lazy Boy recliners from Lazy Boy at West Gosford. So that starts on Monday, your opportunity to go in the draw. But you can't enter, madam. Sorry.
I need a nice chair after a day in gardening. Oh,
We've got to keep some distancing.
Yeah, that's all right. Fair enough.
Coast FM today. We're talking plants. Pete Little and Cheralyn Darcy, the gardening gang, are talking indoor plants. And now we've touched on the value of these plants in the office, but what kind of plants are you going to suggest to our multitude of thousands of office workers here today, Cheralyn?
Okay, so this is for offices, whether they're home offices or home working spaces. You might have like a little retail small manufacturing thing at home. I don't know, but you might have a hairdressing salon or perhaps a solicitor's office, anything at all, and retail shops as well. So these are places for work, and we need to select plants that, as I said, are going to survive our neglect, I guess. So I'll give you a few of them that are good. So if your workspace has low lighting, you need something that will survive in that. Lady palm is fantastic. It's a shady lady as well, and it only needs watering once a week. How good's that? It's thought to stimulate new ideas and encourage communication as well. So if everyone's, arguing at work, there's a good one for you as well.
So it's a lady palm.
It's called lady palm. Yes, it is. It's a Rhapis excelsior, and I will put all of the botanical names up on our website for everybody on our Facebook page afterwards, so they can read it all up.
And then we'll ask questions later.
We will ask questions later. We will. Okay, devil's ivy is another indestructible plant. It will grow in just about any light, but it loves filtered light to shade, and it can handle the top few centimetres drying out. So there's another one. Plants that can be really independent, you don't have to worry about at all, is cast iron plant. That is, just like its name says, I think it is indestructible. It adapts to anything just about. It can half die, revive itself, but if you treat it nicely, you end up with a lovely lush plant. So in saying this about the ones that will handle neglect, obviously they'll grow better with care and love. A really popular plant at the moment is ZZ plant. It can handle, again, just about whatever you dish up, and it still actually looks amazing. It's a low-light plant, and it's said to help smooth negotiations. So perhaps if you're a solicitor's office, the ZZ plant would be a good one for you as well.
Yes, doing mediation.
Mediation. It'd be a really good one. Throw a ZZ plant in your office, especially if you've got one of those lovely, nice, dark, full of leather and... Okay, I'm going off the tangent here. We'll get back to this. What if your place is hot? What if you're a dry cleaner or you're like out the back cooking or something?
Something hot and steamy.
Hot and steamy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, rubber plants.
Some offices are like that, Particularly after 5 o'clock.
Right. I think, we're talking about different work spaces, Pete. Anyway, rubber plants. Oh, God.
Concentration, my God.
Rubber plants. Ficus elastica prefers things on the warmer side. Oh my gosh, and the humid side. So they do good in steamy places. And of course, succulents and cacti work well. They don't really like it to be too humid at all, but they do like the heat. Let's move along. So if it's cold at your place, the opposite, jade plant does pretty well, and it also brings in luck. That's what it says. Dragon tree, that's a false palm. So it looks like a palm, but it will do better in colder places. So if you like the look of, tropical plants and things like that, it looks good. And then, that's sort of a roundup at the moment of those. I've got a few later on we can talk about. But the thing is, you need to have a look at your environment and space. Go to your local nursery, have a chat to them and show them photographs even of what your workspace looks like, and they can help you select plants to match.
I've got an idea for you right now. You need a fan palm. You're heating up.
Oh, yes, I am. Talking to you, Pete.
Let's take a break while she recovers.
So I've got Josh Urson on the phone from Green Design at Summersby, and they actually are a company that hires out plants across the Central Coast. So welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That's right. We do all ends of the coast.
Okay, right, the whole coast with plant hire.
Coast, yeah.
It's something that I've seen all the time as a gardener, but haven't actually used myself. And I've noticed that obviously some of these big supermarkets and shopping centres and things like that probably do have hired plants and things. But what sort of businesses do hire plants and lease plants from you on the Central Coast?
Yeah, well, probably about 75% of our clients on the coast are commercial offices. Mm-hmm. So that's our first and foremost sort of our most common client. Mm-hmm. But we also do shopping centres,
right?
Like Erin Affair in the Imperial Centre, as well as clubs and pubs. So we do plenty of hotels and RSL clubs and that sort of thing too. So you'd be surprised how many different businesses we do service.
You just surprised me with pubs. I don't know why. I've just gone, okay. I can see that. And so a company like yours, what do people get from you? Is it just that you put the plants in and leave them, or do you look after them as well, or a bit of both?
Yeah, so we supply the plants and we look after them. So our guys go in depending on the client, either fortnightly or monthly, service them, so water them, dust them, shine them, keep them looking nice.
Yeah.
And then we also replace them as need be as well. So obviously we just spoke about pubs and that sort of thing. So obviously in like pokies areas and stuff where the light's really low, plants need replacing quite a bit. So as well as dusting too, especially in the smokers area.
I was about to say they probably need some fresh air, don't they, for a while before they can come back somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, but we do find plants that can sort of suit most environments as well. So, yeah, that's fine.
And what are the most popular sorts of plants that people hire in their businesses?
Well, the most popular plants, the trends do change. Mm-hmm. At the moment, the most popular plant seems to be the stuff like the larger foliage plants like the fiddleweed fig or Ficus lorata. That's really common.
Okay.
But then there's also the plants that don't go out of fashion and the ones that are really easy to look after, like the Sansevieria or the mother-in-law's tongue, which just thrive on neglect. So our guys love them. Really doesn't need a lot of water and can survive in most lighting conditions, which is good.
Which is perfect, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so do you hire out to events as well? Do you short-term hire? Because I've seen that's something that I've noticed is really popular in weddings because houseplants are so popular.
Yeah, our company doesn't. We just do longer term, so we have sort of 12-month contract. That's right. That's another. We do get lots of calls for that as well, and there are companies around the coast that just do events hire and short-term And even when you're selling your house and that sort of thing as well, there's companies that can provide plants to for open homes and that too. So it's not something that we do a lot of, but it's something that's definitely becoming more popular.
Because of the whole greening thing. So, Josh, who is your biggest client, like the most plants that you put somewhere that you look after on the coast at the moment?
Okay, so we do a few big offices. So one could be like Sanitarium at Berkeley Vale. We do their office and factory. And Erin Affair, like I mentioned before. Some of the larger leagues clubs, so Central Coast Leagues Club, Narara Recreation Club.
Oh, that's beautiful there. I've seen there's a lot of nice plants there. Okay, that's your work.
Yeah, that's good. They're looking good. That's our work.
Okay.
And then we also do very small sort of clients as well. So we can do smaller restaurants, small offices, and some on the coast we've had for 30 years servicing. So we've actually watched offices grow from, very new small companies on the coast to larger ones as well. So we have a long-standing relationship with lots of local businesses.
That's so nice, and your plants have grown with them. That's great.
That's right, yeah.
Thanks for joining us today, because it's opened up a little bit of a mystery and taken away some of the questions that I've had, and probably some other people have had, of like, how do these sort of companies work? So thank you so much for your time today. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thanks.
You can hire cars, you can hire plants, I guess you can hire sometimes people for work at Berkeley Vale. Now, this morning here at CoastFM, the generosity of my radio partner, Cheralyn, knows no bounds, friends. No. I have a little birthday today, only a small one. I'm still in my 40s, somewhere there.
And some months.
Lie, pants on fire.
And some.
And she's left me a lovely little plant here for the office, here at CoastFM, for the production office. And Cheralyn wants to play a game and give away one of her hot-selling books, The Language of Houseplants.
Yes.
Plants for Home and Healing.
That's right.
Excellent.
So I'd love to give one of those away.
We're going to tease the people to ask them what the diggins it is. It's
what
nice
sort
little
of plant?
green thing. Yes,
and our listeners can jump online and have a look at our website, coastfmgardeninggang.com, Facebook, At Home with the Gardening Gang, and Instagram, At Home with the Gardening Gang, to see a picture. But a big clue is the card. Read the card out.
The card says, "Happy birthday, you little devil." Okay? Lots of love from Cheralyn.
So we just need the common name. Don't worry about...
We need to know the common name of that plant. There's a clue, and here's another clue we're going to give you from this song from Elvis. So if you think you'd like to win the book, 4322 0072, and answer the question. What the diggins is the plant? See, what is the name of the plant that my very good friend Cheralyn dropped on my lap this morning for my birthday celebrations? Melissa from Umina, you're on the line. You're first up. What is your guess?
Is it Devil's Ivy?
Yes, it is.
Correct.
Yay!
Well, you're going to receive this magnificent book. It's a collector's item, actually. It's called The Language of Houseplants, Plants for Home and Healing. Now, Cheralyn, I'm going to get you to personally sign this to Melissa, because she deserves it, and I'll mail it out to you. Hang on the phone there, Melissa. I'll get your mailing address, and we'll shoot that through the mail next week. Compliments of the Gardening Gang. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for listening, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All the very best there to Melissa at Umina Beach. Coast FM 963 with Pete Little and Cheralyn Darcy. Talking about planting, Cheralyn, is there a special season that starts on the first day of February for new plants? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it is time to get our hands dirty, but it's time to start planning for autumn. That's when it is, when we're looking at February. So we need to start looking at the beds that we want to grow our winter crops in, and we also have to look at weeds, because we've probably got lots of them with all this rain and heat as well. So let's keep on top of those weeds. Do that by mulching really well, pulling things out by hand as you can. Don't put things in the compost bin, okay, that are weeds and you don't want to grow everywhere else afterwards. And now's a really good time to consider putting in a green manure crop that's going to add some life and fix some nitrogen, suppress the weeds as well. I like using different types of mustard greens and radishes as well, and just dig them back into the soil once they grow. I think we might do a whole show on green manure crops. That's just popped up in my head. It might be a really good one. So that's just when you want to rest a bed and you want to enrich the soil a bit. So we don't always be buying soil and throwing it in there. We want to look after what we've got and fixing up our environment as well. Now, what you could plant this week are beans. Dwarf and running beans will do really well on the Central Coast planted this week. Beetroot, burdock is a lovely one. That makes a nice tea, a nice cleansing tea to drink.
Never heard of it before in all my life.
Burdock. It has beautiful little purpley blue flowers as well, and our bees love those. It's a good pollinator. Carrots will do well. Put into really well-tilled soil now, and there's some lovely heirloom ones that are available around the place. Carrots usually will always do better when you plant by seeds as well. Good time to put in chives. Cucumbers, make sure you space them out as well, because with all this humidity, you're going to bring in things like the different molds and funguses as well, and we don't want any of that stuff. Marrows can go in now. Turnips, I'm not a fan really, but, get your turnips now for your soups and things. Boronia can go in now. Cyclamens, they're a lovely little house plant, and they do really well on people's desks and things, but you can grow them yourself as well in the garden. Be careful, they are poisonous, so watch where you put them. Forget-me-nots can go in. Lupins can go in. Marigolds, another really good pollinator, and also one that will deter pests. Pansies, primulas, stock, verbena, and also zinnias can go in for those who like it. And it might be time to have a really good look at your asters if you're growing those, because they'll need to be deadheaded, as will lots of daisies, and you'll get another flush through in autumn. So that's what you can do to get your hands dirty this weekend in the garden.
Well, one of our kind sponsors, Russell Parsons from Little Creek Cheese, he makes cheese all day long, so he's got little time to work in the garden, but he said a lot of his plants, they flourish beautifully.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he uses this special additive. He said, I said, what's it called, mate? He said, neglect.
Neglect.
Have you heard of that?
Yes. I have heard of neglect.
Good on you, Russell.
Works with some.
At home with the gardening gang, Pete Little and Cheralyn Darcy, joining you every Saturday morning between 8 and 10. And in view of the fact that I'm celebrating a marvellous day today, like I'm old, and I hit one more year, I wish I could reverse it, Cheralyn, but I can't. Nevertheless, as a commemoration of this event, I've been presented with a nice little pot plant for my office desk here at CoastFM. And it's a thing called a devil's ivy, which I'd never heard of before. It looks very nice. It looks very pretty. And the question I've got for you, Cheralyn, you've been the expert in this sort of thing.
Okay.
How do I well look after it? Do I water it every week, every fortnight, every 3 years, like some people do?
Well, devil's ivy, as I said, is a bit indestructible. So he only needs or she, who am I to say, only needs a little bit of water.
I'm a he, by the way. Yeah.
You think it's a he? Okay.
I am.
You're a he, but I think you need to name your devil's ivy as well. Maybe that's another competition. But anyway.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the gender of the plant.
I'm talking about the gender of the plant. I said he, she, who am I to... Yes. So a devil's ivy only needs sporadic watering. It's better to let it dry out a bit as well. The major reason devil's ivy dies is actually over watering, over love. So, so you just need to put that there, filtered light away from the window, but you've got a nice light field. We've got a nice light field production office there. And it does like to trail. You can see it's already started trailing across the desk there. So, or you can go up. And the reason it's called devil's ivy is actually because it was thought to be indestructible. It was like, well, only the devil could keep that going. But when we're looking at giving a plant for people, because I've often gone into offices, and I'm sure you have, Pete, and seen little plants that are like, they've up and died, and it's usually a well-meaning gifted orchid or something like that. It's because the environment doesn't suit the plant. I'd like to suggest perhaps some begonias. They're a really good substitute for flowers because their leaves are really, really pretty, and the only thing you have to watch out with begonias is no tap water. So you just put a little sign on there. Just give me rainwater or distilled water, or give us a slug out of your water bottle.
Oh, okay. We don't want to worry about the tap water. That's too much chlorine.
And look, exactly, and minerals and things. But if you're sort of really stuck, air plants are so popular, and you can put them on a little dish or in a little vase or something, and there's no water to spill across your computers or your paperwork. There's nothing to worry about. All you need to do is dunk them in a bucket of water for a couple of hours, about once a month, so they get a bit of a drink, and just make sure they've got a bit of airflow. That's it. So that's a really good solution as well. All these plants improve the quality of our air indoors as well, and they do make people happy and calm. Science has proved that as well. And as I said, if in doubt, go and have a chat with our local nurseries and garden centres, and even some of our florists sell pot plants now, and you can find the perfect plant for your office space.
Something that came to mind.
Yes.
Supposing one of my work colleagues here at CoastFM said, oh, I like that, I'd like one on my desk.
Yes.
Can you propagate from that?
Because we were talking about
Cut and
propagation.
snip and
Yes,
breed plants.
These work really, really well with propagation. And if you have a look at this, and I'll put a photograph up for our listeners who look online, it's got little roots already coming out.
Keep on, Mike, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going off bike looking at the plant because, I'm so planty.
Getting carried away.
So you can actually, you can propagate those. So they reproduce really well. We could have them growing all around the studio.
I'm going to put a sign up here.
place.
Pete the propagator. Here we go. Now, Cheralyn, you're talking about what's on in the gardening world, and
Yes.
the grapevine is now yours this morning to share.
Okay, on the garden grapevine for the Central Coast today, Woy Woy Produce Swap is on at Woy Woy Community Garden from 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. That is at 85 to 87 Moana Street, Woy Woy. Have a look at their home Facebook page if you want to find out some more. That's Woy Woy Peninsula Community Garden, because they have this on every month, and it's an opportunity for home gardeners and other community gardeners to come and swap their produce if they've got an abundance of something and pick up something that they haven't been growing. Grace Spring Farms morning chores tours are back on. You can go and cuddle chicks, collect eggs, sit on a tractor, pat a cow, and experience life on a beautiful chemical-free working farm on the New South Wales Central Coast. 0425258699 to
So you
book.
can pet the chicks.
Yes, you can go.
Sounds
pet the
pretty
chicks.
interesting.
Go and pet those little chicks out of their eggs. That's what you can do. So the market report for today.
Let's check out the markets around the
Let's check
port.
out the markets as well while
Go.
we're going. Okay, so for today, the long jetty markets are on between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the foreshore. Explore international food stalls, desserts, jewellery and homewares. Meanwhile, up the road, the entrance markets are on between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. as well at the Memorial Park. There'll be freshly baked breads, toys, gourmet foods, fashion and crafts. Edlong indoor markets will be held today and tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Galleria. The markets are undercover, which is great because of the weather, isn't it? And the stalls are of fashion, jewellery, arts, crafts and foods. Tomorrow, Gosford City Farmers Market is being held at the Gosford Showground between 7 a.m. and 12 noon. Talk to the growers and check out the organic veggies, fruit, local honey and grass-fed beef. Also selling international food products, yummy coffee and a lot more. Tukley markets are on again tomorrow in the Coles car park between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. with craft stalls, plants, seasonal fruits and veggies on offer. And tomorrow is the last Sunday of the month, and you know what that means? Mangrove District markets are happening on the corner of George Downs Drive and Bloodtree Road. 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. with live music and local produce. Stalls are indoors and so they're all weather. And as I said, the Woy Woy Produce Swap's on tomorrow. Everybody wants to know about it.
Well, there you
Get
go.
over
So
there.
much to do.
Yes.
Kids are back at school as well. Oh, you've got so much time to spend checking out the markets and all kinds of things on the coast. And now, her Hotness Yes is on the line from the Narara Valley Nursery. We're talking about the lovely Vicki. Good morning, Vicki.
Morning, Vicki.
Good morning, Cheralyn. Good morning, Peter. And a big happy birthday to you, Peter,
Oh, well,
today.
no, that's well past now. That was yesterday. No, I'm going to forget about this birthday. Thank you for that lovely greeting, Vicki.
And help
You're
with the
welcome.
devil's ivy.
And I've got this marvellous plant here that apparently has something to do with the devil's ivy. It's a devil in disguise, you know.
Yes, you little devil.
You got it. On the level. Now, Vicki, what's hot in the nursery this week?
Well, on the topic of indoor plants, I'm going with the hanging indoor basket. So, you know, your lovely ferns or your lovely succulents and cactus in indoor hanging basket.
Oh, they're a good idea for home offices, actually, or any office or retail space. Good idea.
Beautiful, and some beautiful cascading plants to add that beautiful ambience to your rooms and your offices.
Okay.
Are they all green plants? All these indoor plants seem to be green. Is there any special colour that You also offer in indoor plants, Vicki?
I'm looking at a very purple one right now called Tradescantia zebrina, and it's a beautiful shade of purple and a bit green.
Oh.
That's a really gorgeous, easy to care for one. And you were talking about cuttings before. Very easy to strike from a cutting.
Excellent.
Okay, so we got more than just the old green plants.
No.
We can go
That's
purple
right.
for those who like a bit of extra colour in their office.
Plenty of variety. And can I just cut in and say, just for today, because of your birthday, we're offering 20% off all indoor hanging baskets to all the listeners today.
What? That's so cool.
What, so
That's
they
hot.
come in and
From the gardening
say,
gang.
okay, they come in and say, because it's Pete's birthday, we want a 20% discount. Is that right?
Absolutely, that's right. So what a bargain.
what-
And happy birthday to everybody.
All the aquariums are celebrating today, you know that?
Yes. Very good.
Okay, well, that's lovely. Thank you, Vicki, and have a wonderful week at Narara Valley Nursery. We'll catch you next week, okay?
No worries. Thank you, gardening gang.
Thanks, Vicki.
Okay.
Bye.
Holy rock and rolly.
Holy
Holy
college.
moly.
Holy college.
She's a trick, isn't she?
She is.
In my hand, Cheralyn,
Yes.
I have this lump of... Oh, this is something you brought in this
Yes,
morning.
it's something you
I thought it might have been a
asked for.
candy.
Did
But
you know
no,
it's not a candy?
Looks
No.
like raw garlic.
Yes, it's
from your garden.
It's from
It's
my
still
garden.
got some dirt on it.
It's the real deal. I do grow my own garlic. That's
Not
it.
pretend.
No, it's not pretend. It's from my garlic. It's actually called elephant garlic. It's a very strong form of garlic as well. So you can take a couple of those bulbs and you can stick them in your garden and grow some more, because that's how they grow. They grow by
Propagate.
dropping
Heat the propagator.
Heat the propagator. They can do
important.
that. So they grow really well on the coast. Now's the time that you can be pulling them up and harvesting them. And I've got a couple of fascinating little points about them I'd like to share with everybody.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Help me out there.
Okay, they're actually originally from Southwest Asia, and although now they're cultivated throughout the world, China is actually the leading producer of garlic. And your garlic needs a soil that's rich with a high quantity of organic material, although it will grow in a wide spectrum of terrain and acidity. The two most popular are elephant garlic that you've got right there, and that's actually a wild leek, and then the single clove garlic as well.
So that's an elephant garlic.
So it looks like an elephant kind of foot. You know how so have a look at the way
trunk.
you're thinking like, oh, it's really big. It does grow large as well. Look, garlic grows from autumn until spring when it's ready to harvest, but you can, in our climate, you can harvest at lots of different times. It doesn't really like frost, so that's okay in most places here as well. And it grows a delightful flower that can be dried out. It doesn't actually really smell. It has so many health benefits. It helps us with immunity. It helps us with our inflammatory diseases as well. It lowers cholesterol, and it does make your breath smell a little bit as well. But that's it as well. But you know what's really good about it is that during the era of the bubonic plague in the Middle Ages, people wore crosses, and also they wore garlic around their neck.
That's right.
For the vampires, you know, and things like that. And they thought, and they really believed, that hanging garlic around their necks stopped the bubonic plague because they didn't get it. But we now look at it and say, well, it's actually social distancing. Because people, if you stunk of garlic, like they ate it, rubbed it on their skin, they actually did all that. And then they were like, I didn't catch it, I had garlic all over me. But social distancing.
May have been good for the COVID.
It would be good. So, you know, if you're having trouble at the moment with social distancing, because I hear a lot of complaints about this, maybe you need to go back to the Middle Ages practice with garlic. And
is that why you're giving this to me?
yeah, get over there. Masks off time. Get your bloody garlic on, Pete.
There's always a reason.
Exactly. There's always a reason.
Coast FM. And Lachlan's just joining us now. Lachlan from Ray White McDonald Partners. The genius of real estate's joining us this morning. Good morning, mate.
Good morning, Pete. You're too kind.
Well, looking at the newspapers, I caught an article yesterday in the Herald indicating that in the last 3 months, which is October, November, December, that the average price on the coast has gone up 12.7%.
I believe it.
12.7%.
That's what we're seeing. And median house prices just jumped an entire bracket in that short period of time.
Now, obviously one of the big draw cards is people who'd like to work from home rather than commute down to Sydney. What extra value does that add to your house if you've got some sort of office space, mate? Is that a significant request by the buyers from outside?
Oh, right now it's a huge request. Everybody is looking for a quality remote working space. And especially when you've got, let's say, both parties at home, there's some separation that's wanted during the workday. So if you've got a couple of different spaces that'll work, that is a really big plus.
Like, we'll send the kids down to the media room while Dad or Mum, depending on who's working from home, has a nice quiet spot to work in, huh?
Well, I think it's more Dad and Mum want their separate areas. That's the real key thing.
Okay, so it's like 2 office spaces almost, isn't it? Or 2 areas you can...
Gem of an idea, wouldn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
I like it.
Well, our theme today is all about how we adapt our houses to home working conditions. So, Cheralyn, you had something to raise that kind of thing in regard to plants, didn't you?
Well, we did. We've been talking today about house plants that you can have in your home office or your work office and retail spaces as well. So light would be something that I'd be looking for in a home office space. So I would feel probably benefit over working in a crowded office space.
Do you sell houses with light coming in, mate?
For your plants?
You think it's an important thing?
It's very important. Natural light's really important.
Well, the big thing for the coast is houses that are for sale, freestanding houses. I'm talking about units so much because they haven't gone up as much as a house has. And the trend is what are people asking for? 4-bedders plus an office, or 3-bedders with an office?
It depends.
5-bedders with an office?
It depends on the family, but a lot of these are young couples coming out of Sydney that don't yet have kids. So they're more just after living space and yard space, just space around them. If they're going to come out of an apartment into a house, they just want lots of great living space. So that's more the criteria. 3 beds, 4 beds, not so fast, because obviously anything's a lot bigger than where they've come out of in Sydney.
So, Lachie, when you're working from home, do you need any sort of permit from the council as well when you're having a home office or a home business? Is there rules around that?
It depends on the size. You don't if you have less than 2 employees. Now, that's not counting the residents of the home. So 2 additional people that are actually coming to the house to work. So you can run any kind of business out of your home as long as it's not larger than that.
Right. So you could have a hairdressing salon or something if you were just the person doing it.
Most definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought maybe there might be some sort of restriction there with...
I thought so as well, Pete. Yeah, that's very good.
I'm enlightened, Lachie.
Yeah, only the number, so very common.
What about small-scale manufacturing, like making food or the like? Is that something that people would try at home from their kitchen?
Well, you definitely can. I mean, you look at all of these farmers markets that are popping up around the place, and a lot of these are touted as being homemade, and homemade is the draw card. Yeah. So that's what people love.
And we've got the space to do it at home with an office and all that sort of thing to do it. Yeah, it's the perfect place.
My wife would be totally against it. She's one of these people. If I put the newspaper down in the kitchen, she says, get rid of it, put it somewhere else. I've got a very strict household at my place, so it's not going to work. But nevertheless,
no work at home.
Ah, right. Okay.
Exactly right. No work at home. Get down to the pool or get out to your shed, mate.
Right.
There you go. That's enlightening, actually. So I can understand why a full-blown house and all the sides it offers is very important.
Well, when I moved to the coast, I did the same thing. It was the priority that I wanted a big office space to do my work in because I have a lot of books and things and research things. Garden writing, you see?
You've got a very trusting Paul there at home, mate.
That's it.
Well, Lachie, you'll join us each week and we'll get another insight into the use of your house for profit or pleasure. Lachlan McDonald from Ray White McDonald Partners. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Pleasure.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Lachie.
Talk with Pete Little and Cheralyn Darcy. And thank you for your company. We're here every Saturday morning between 8 and 10. Being sponsored by Alan Graham's Caravans and RVs and Doormaster Security Doors and Windows at Berkeley Vale. Cheralyn, we'll check you next week.
Yes.
What's our theme?
Our theme for next week is urban shade trees and shade trees for your garden. So it's a shady time.
Okay. The naughty lady from Shady Lane.
Bye, Pete.